So you want to be a dungeon master?
That's great. We're here to help. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Justin. This week, we're getting inspiration from all the subclasses for the Bard class. These are the ones not found in the player's handbook, and we're going over all of them. What's the flavor? What's the hook for each of these subclasses? And how do they step up to the mighty lore Bard, my personal favorite? Well, there's quite a few, so let's hop in. But first... I was going to be first. Taylor, I think you've only played one Bard that I just found out about pre-recording.
Yep.
And I was there for it. I was the DM. But I totally blanked that from my mind.
Yeah, it's all right.
What was it like playing a Bard? What did you like? What did you dislike? Will you play one again, not in a one-shot?
Probably. I mean, well, I don't know. We'll see. I do like the Bard class in general. I played a College of Eloquence Bard, which we'll be talking about this episode. And you get a lot of some pretty fun features from that. But I don't feel very Bard-like myself. Like, I don't feel like I'm a Bard. It's weird, like, as a podcaster, to be like, I don't think I perform very well. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, like, that's kind of, I don't really, that's probably the reason why I stay away from them in general. But, I mean, they're fun. You get a lot of stuff to do. I like having bonus action things to do. I wish that you get your inspirations back more frequently, though, right? Because it's a long rest thing, right?
It's a long rest until a certain level. I think level 5.
Yeah.
Once you get that font of inspiration ability, I think at
Right.
level 5, then it's short rests.
Okay.
Which is a huge game changer because it's one of the biggest class defining features of the Bard is your inspiration. The second of which is, I was gonna say, like, just being really good at skills because of expertise and all the extra skills you get and stuff, but and jack of all trades. Rogues would be the other one that kind of have that in some degree. Yeah. But then
Magical Secrets
is a huge one, being able to just learn extra spells and stuff. But I do love the Bard. It is my favorite class of all. I love the spell list being what it is and having some interesting choices to make. Of course, there are things where it's like, I just wish I could prepare or know more spells. Even if I couldn't prepare more, just knowing more spells would be nice.
Right.
But balanced with the magical secrets and other things, it's like, okay, I get that. And then, like, having so many things, including how many bardic inspirations you get, be dependent on a modifier is challenging. Obviously, it's charisma. It's going to be your best one. My only thing is, like, unless you're getting an insanely rare magic item to push you beyond 20, you're at 5. You're at +5.
Right.
Which means you always, even short rests, you have 5 bardics to give out. So when your class is like, hey, here's another thing you can do bardics with, it's like, dang, now I have to pick between that, giving normal inspiration, or doing some other thing that I was going to use them for, you know?
Yeah.
So the bardic subclasses are very interesting because you have these very limited resources to play with. It's not like a monk where it's like, by the end, you're going to have so many fucking key points. No, you don't get that many. You're not a sorcerer. You get
5.
Pretty much 5. 6 if you're extremely lucky.
Right.
7 if you're a legendary monster. But, like, I still love this class so much. I love the I find it to be a class that is a little challenging.
Yeah.
And so I like it a lot.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, challenging to master.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones that it is difficult to play well. I mean, anybody can pick up a Bard and do stuff with it, but to break the game with Bard, it's one of the harder classes to do it with.
Yeah. Because it takes a lot of levels, secrets. First of all, just to get to the good magical secrets. And then, like, yeah, I have so much fun with it. Man, I have such a blast playing Bards.
I do have a Bard on my Baldur's Gate game with my friends.
There you go. What subclass did you choose?
We haven't even gotten that far.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Godspeed.
Yeah.
Godspeed to you. I am excited to do this episode. There are 6 that we're going over, and just as a recap to get into the meat of the episode, bards. We talked about them ad nauseum during the Bard class episode. You can go back, Bard 101. But, I mean, there's obviously a couple number of ways you can play them. The subclass will determine a lot of different abilities, such as like going more melee, going more spells, range, like melee versus range, how support heavy you're going to go, crowd control. There's a million different directions. But I think of them as support when I play them.
I do too.
At least.
Yeah.
Because I think even when you're doing some really cool, like going over this outline with like all of the different subclasses, there's some that we're going to talk about that like have some crazy like melee abilities that are so interesting to play around with. And then knowing that you're also getting all your normal bard spell stuff, including magical secrets on top of some of this. I'm digging some of these. But let's get into it, I guess. We have a lot to cover.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Incredible. So I'll kick us off with the College of Creation, one of the newer subclasses that were created in Tasha's. And all Bard subclasses, you're going to get an ability at 3rd when you get to choose your subclass, an ability at 6th and 14th level. So there's like, it's such an interesting build up in the sense of like, you get 2 at pretty low level. It's 3rd and 6th. And then you have to wait a long time to get that 14th level ability.
Yeah. Because the jump between 6 and 14 isn't just like the level portion. It takes so much more to level as you get up into the higher levels. So, I mean, God, we haven't even hit 4th level in our game. And we've been playing, or 14th level, I should say. We haven't hit 14th level. We've been playing for 4 years. Yeah.
Which, I mean, some people will level up faster, I imagine, than our game.
Yeah,
but like, still.
Depending on the table, for sure. But yeah, I mean, it is. That's a long time. That's a long time.
It's a very long time. And hopefully these subclasses live up to that hype of waiting until 14th level for this 3rd ability. So we'll see what's up. But
yeah.
College of Creation. So going into the idea of just creation itself, the idea of like the world and universe starting and, you know, all of the chicken or the egg kind of shit, I guess. And at 3rd level, in my opinion, such a huge boon to your bardic inspiration with the moat of potential. So now your bardic inspiration does just a bunch of extra stuff depending on what the person uses it on. So if they use it on an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw, all 3 of them do something different in addition to just what a normal bardic does. Because it still does the normal thing. But then when you use it on an ability check, you get to roll that bardic with advantage. If it's a D6, roll the D6 twice, pick the higher. That's incredible. So that just instantly better. No questions asked. The attack roll, when you use it for the attack roll, the target of the attack and any creature of your choice within 5 feet of it has to make a Constitution saving throw. And this is against your spell save DC, which is your bard. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Or they take thunder damage equal to whatever you rolled on that bardic die. That's just extra damage for free. You get to choose the creature, so you're not hurting your friends. Free damage. Why not? Instantly better. Why not? Saving throw. The creature gains temporary hit points equal to the number rolled on the bardic die. Once again, you're just making it better. There's 0 downsides to this. You've just taken what a bardic does and made it a little bit better and kind of customized it to what you're using. Customized it too. Yeah. Because I mean, these are very broken for what you're using them for, even. Like, because the ability, when you're doing it on an ability check, you're not really worried about damage or anything like that. You just want to do better on the ability check. So roll that with advantage. But, you know, if you're using it on attack roll, chances are you're in a fight. Might want to be doing some extra damage with that. Yeah. I really cool. Like it. It's really cool. It is when you're with like brand new players, it can be a little much because you have to if you're the bard, you have to constantly remind people and be like, oh, by the way, it does this extra thing. Like, oh, what are you using it on? You're just a little bit more involved, which is not a bad thing. It just depends on you as a player to like inform the table of how your bardic works differently than normal bardics in the past and stuff like that. But it's no big deal. Also, the flavor is really fun. They give you a bunch of examples, but you can flavor this like moat, this like physical representation of your inspiration that kind of floats around them until they use it. So that's really cute and fun. You can do a lot of character stuff because it's literally just flavor, whether it's an embodiment of a music note or a tiny goldfish or a fucking, I don't know, a woman. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I guess. And then you also at third level get performance of creation, which is going to be the big kind of crux of the rest of this build. So it takes an action and you create one non-magical item within 10 feet of you. It's cool. GP value when you're trying to determine what you can and can't make. The gold value of this item is 20 times your bard level. So at level 3, I feel like 60 gold.
I feel like that's going to be really hard to keep track of.
It is hard to keep track of. I think it really comes down to like just knowing like when you're creating these items. It's one of those things of like when players get the option of casting Conjure Animals or Wild Shape or something where it's like you have to look at a book. You have to look at a list of things to figure out what you can do. And it's the same here where you would have to look into either the player's handbook or somewhere else to find a list of mundane items because it does have to be non-magical. But then you can look into an item and be like, okay, this piece of like splint heavy armor cost this much. That can I make it or can I not make it?
I got you. Yeah.
So the gold P value is one limiter. Then there's also you can only make something medium or smaller. It disappears after a number of hours equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can do this once per long rest for free. And then after that, if you want to do it again, you have to expend a second spell slot or higher. So you're not, it's not like when you cast a second level spell, you get to do this again. No. You're burning the spell slot's energy
it actually
to be able to
slot to
do performance of creation again. Now, at 6th level, the item you can create increases to large. And at 14th level, it increases to huge. So like a large, just to put it in some size perspective, you figure like a horse that you can ride is large. An elephant that you can ride is huge. So you're making objects that are about that big. So like I've looked it up.
Also,
at 6th level, you can make a rowboat.
Okay.
So at 6th level, you can just have a rowboat anytime you really want one. And you can obviously ride in it. I've looked up the gold value. Rowboats are weird cheap. So, I mean, hey, it's crazy what you can do because that size increase up to a large item is going to play into our 6th level ability, animating performance. So now,
right.
You use an action. You can animate a large or smaller non-magical item within 30 feet of you that is not worn or carried. So you're just bringing items to life. You're Geppetto. You know what I mean? Or rather, probably more accurate to call you the Blue Fairy, since you're actually the one who turned a wooden puppet into a boy. Before that, right? It was just, I mean, I don't think Geppetto. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've checked on Pinocchio. Moving on.
I don't
know. So when you look up this ability, shout out to Wikidot. When you look up this ability, there's a stat block called Dancing Item. And that's what the construct uses. There's so many similar examples of this. Go back to the Artificer episode with the Battlesmith. There's eventually we're going to talk about Druids and Wildfire Druids. They have something very similar to this. The language here is very familiar if you've seen one or two of these subclasses that do something similar like this, where they summon something. It also is very similar to the summon spells from Tasha's as well. But anyway, so I won't go over like the entire stat block or anything. It's got some really cool abilities, like any creature that starts its turn in its aura, which I think is like a 10-foot range. It either has its speed increased or decreased, and like you get to choose. So just being near it gives you a speed boost or a speed reduction, and that's like every turn. There's not even a saving throw for that. It just happens.
Crazy.
So it's nuts, and like at the lowest level possible, it's getting like, I think it'll start with like 40 hit points at its lowest possible. So that's like pretty freaking decent. It's got like an AC of 16. Not bad. Not bad at all. It goes right after you in combat. It can move and has its own reaction. The construct lives for about an hour. I don't know why I said about. It lives for 1 hour or until it hits 0 hit points. You can use a bonus action for it to attack or do something other than take the dodge action, which again, just like the Battlesmith.
Yeah.
Unless you're la incapacidad. If you're incapacitated, then at that point, it can take crazy actions. So exactly like Stu 2.
Yeah.
Check out Sphinx City on YouTube or
Sphinx
the
City,
podcast.
baby. Yeah.
And the nice addition that they made to this that's specific for the Bard is when you use your bonus action to do Bardic Inspiration, you also get to give the construct a command, which is really, really nice. So you never have to choose, do I give inspiration or do I give a command? You can do both. So I freaking love that. You can only do this once per long rest unless you spend a third spell slot or higher and just burn that magical energy to be able to do this again.
I mean, that's basically a third level spell.
It pretty much is. Yeah.
Summon animals or whatever. Summon woodland creatures in that third.
Yeah. It's dope as hell, man. Because it's not a fucking concentration.
Right.
It's not like an actual summon spell like Summon Shadow Spawn or some shit like that where it's like, it's a dope creature that you're summoning and they have cool abilities, but you have to concentrate on it. This, you do not have to concentrate. You just have this and you have one at a time. And it's so cool. It's just fun. So that rowboat, bring it to life.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Killer rowboat.
I love it. I've played one once and I used it was a net. Like a rug of smothering, but it was just a net of smothering. So then at 14th level, you've waited all this time, you stuck in here. Way to go, gang. Here you are at the end of this marathon. You get Creative Crescendo, a great name. When you use the Performance of Creation ability, which is when you're making shit, you can create a number of items equal to your charisma modifier. Only one of them can be of the maximum size. Everything else must be small or tiny. And you're no longer limited by gold value when creating items.
Oh, cool.
You can create anything. That is incredibly open-ended, is what I thought when I read that. I said, what? Can you make diamonds? What is stopping you from making... What are we talking about? Because again, we go back to the Performance of Creation thing. All it is saying is that it's a non-magical item.
Right. So like you could make like this is just kind of what I'm thinking of. First thing that came to mind. It's like a set of adamantium armor and like a bunch of gems and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. You just make it out of thin air. It is not like the Fabricate spell where you have to essentially like have the material kind of. I think that's how Fabricate works. Not this.
Yeah.
Now here's the downside. If there is it only lasts for
proficiency modifier hours.
Exactly. Still fucking dope as hell. I mean, if you're doing it every day and stuff like that, but it if there's a downside, that's what it is. Is that it's not that this armor won't last forever. But man, if you need a
freaking revivified diamond or something, I mean, at 14th level, you got other things. Like I'm sure there's other spell components that you could just make.
Yeah, there's so many things you could do. Not to mention, if you're going even slightly into a like charlatan criminal background with this bard, the amount of fraud that you could do, Taylor.
Yeah.
Here are the crown jewels. Check them out. They're real. I mean,
for now.
There's some
yeah.
It's fucking crazy. It does say like under there that like the item glimmers softly and a creature can faintly hear music when touching it. But that's kind of all that it says.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you might have to couple this. I could see people being like, okay, if somebody cast Detect Magic or Identify, that they would be able to maybe figure something out about it. But I also think that there are other spells in the game, like, I want to say it's like Mystic Aura, Nethair's Mystic Aura or something. Some spellcaster that starts with an N, and they have some kind of mythical aura or something like that, where you can, like, fuck what Detect Magic would normally read. You could, like, change it.
Oh, yeah.
Something to think about. But anyway, that's just one of them. That's College of Creation, baby.
Hell yeah. That's a fun one.
Super fun.
The next one we're going to talk about is going to be the College of Eloquence. This is the one bard that I've played, and part of it is because of all the crazy shit you get at level 3. Like this one is really front loaded. So at 3rd level, you get the Silver Tongue. You become so good at talking that anytime you make a persuasion or a deception check, you can treat a 9 or lower as a 10.
Bonkers.
And right out the gate, you're
Bonkers.
Doing amazing on no lower than a 15. If you've got, at 3rd level, if you've got your stats maxed out or whatever, it's probably no lower than a 14 starting out. But still.
Yeah. And that's if you're not putting proficiency or expertise into it.
Correct.
Which you probably are, at least
probably
one
should.
of them.
Yeah.
You absolutely should. Double down on persuasion and deception.
Right.
Honestly, I would do both because of the way that this is worded and that it works for both. I would do both. Expert in both. I would make that my entire build.
And you're never going to lose.
I'm truly going to be the face of the party and exploit the shit out of this fucking ability.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's only one of the things that you get. The second thing that you get at 3rd level for College of Eloquence, you get your Unsettling Words feature, where you, as a bonus action, spend a bardic inspiration and choose a creature within 60 feet of you that you can see, roll the die, and then that creature subtracts that from their next saving throw before the start of your next turn.
Incredible.
So this is a bonus action. This allows you to, like, basically hit them with the Unsettling Words, freak them out a little bit, and then you can dump your action spell whatever on it, and you're taking away from their saving throw on that because it's the start of your next turn.
Yeah, it's incredible. The wombo combos are so real here.
The wombo combos could definitely be there.
Yeah, they could be
thinking of
devastating.
doing something like Charm Person or something like that, man. Just boom.
Oh, I mean, anything that a saving throw is really important on. Feeble Mind.
Oh my gosh.
And just being like, this is not the spell I want to fail on. You know what I mean? Like a Fireball, you're kind of like, okay, extra damage, whatever. But like Feeble Mind being like, oh, I'm stupid for a month. not again. God dang it.
Yep. So, a lot of fun wombo combos there for that. Moving on to level 6, you have an Unfailing Inspiration. This is also super cool. When you give a bardic to an ally and they use it and still fail, they get to keep the die. So no longer are you putting your dice at risk for checks and stuff. You can just use them whenever willy-nilly. It doesn't matter if you fail the check, you're good. You get to hang on to it.
That's really, really powerful. I think that's actually one of the changes they made in the 2024 version. But I think they applied it to all bards.
Right.
Which is just so crazy to me. It's like, dang, that makes them even more powerful.
Yeah. I mean, it does make it feel kind of cheap sometimes when you're doing a saving throw or something like that and you use your bardic because you're not doing so hot and you're still don't make the cut, or you rolled really low on the bardic and you don't do it. Don't succeed.
No
and
doubt.
Then it's just gone. And it hurts. Physically, it hurts when that happens.
Yeah. No, I get it. I guess I'm just like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's a dice game. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the dice are not gonna roll and they suck. But I mean, fuck, it is gonna make it so much better, and people can just spend it, without thinking too much about it.
Yep.
But
so last one for level 6 that you get is Universal Speech. As an action, you can choose a number of creatures equal to your charisma modifier within 60 feet. Those creatures can magically understand you for 1 hour. This one's mostly an out of combat thing. I'm reading into it. Seems
no
like,
doubt. Yeah.
because I mean, yeah, but it's still like you could go to a foreign country or another plane of existence and just magically be like, "Hey, where's the hotel at?" Not that I think we've ever really had to worry about that too much in our campaigns, but it could be very important depending on where you're at. Because I mean, there are some creatures that just don't speak common.
Yeah. It could be incredibly important. It depends on the campaign.
Yeah. Yep.
As do most languages in D&D. That's why I'm always. It's an issue. It's a thing that I honestly always forget to bring up in session 0 until a player asks. And they're like,
Right.
Does it matter what languages I know? And it's like, oh, that's a good point, actually. Fuck. Like, yeah, why would Elven be in this world? Like, shit. So then, yeah, you have to think about it.
So that lasts for an hour, and you can do it once per long rest. Or you can expend a spell slot to do it again. Last thing at 14th level for College of Eloquence is your Infectious Inspiration. This is wild. When a creature within 60 feet of you adds one of your bardic inspiration dice to its ability check, whatever, and the roll succeeds, you can use your reaction to encourage a different creature other than yourself that can hear you within 60 feet, giving it a bardic inspiration die without spending any bardic inspiration uses. Crazy.
Really, really
and then
good.
You can do this a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, and then you regain all your expended uses when you finish a long rest. This effectively doubles the amount of bardic inspiration you can give out.
Yeah.
Because in combination with the unfailing inspiration, they're hanging on to their dice until they succeed with that dice.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that happens, you can use your reaction to give it to somebody else.
Yeah. Big time. 60 feet is a pretty far away. Far away distance. It's really good. It's a really, really good ability. Yeah, it truly just makes it so much better. And it does cost your reaction, which I think is a fair trade.
I agree.
Because I think it's really, really powerful. By 15th level, one more level, you're at a D12 for your bardic. So it's one more level, and it's the best it will ever be in terms of just number value. But so good. So good.
That I think is part of my issue with bards and why I don't pick them. I get just choice paralysis.
Yeah.
There's just so much that you can do that it's hard to be like, okay, yes, I'm going to use my reaction. What are you using your reaction for? I don't know yet. Hold on. I'm going to look at my character sheet.
Yeah. That's why I always play chaotic bards, because then you just let her rip. You just send it. Whatever the first thing you think of is. Reaction. I don't know. Cutting words. My guy says, bow, 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 bow. And that's it.
That's it.
And then I roll the dice and I go, fuck, it's a 2. Never mind. Yay, lore bards. Spent. I love it. College of Eloquence. It would be really fun to play into. I like the addition of this subclass, not just from a mechanical standpoint, but from a flavor standpoint of being really good at talking.
Yeah, a tail weaver.
Somebody
who is just, because not all bards are the singy.
No, it doesn't have to be music.
Bards. There are just as many people, especially in this kind of weird feudal medieval kind of time period that most of the game is set in. There are people who are bards who just go around and tell stories from tavern to tavern.
Yeah. Absolutely. Love it. College of Eloquence. Incredible. Now we move on to the College of Glamour. This one, I think I'm underappreciated or underestimated I think. I've always heard of the College of Glamour. It came out with Xanathars, and for some reason I was like, I don't really know about all this, because there's like one or two abilities that I genuinely am like not the biggest fan of. But there's some other stuff worked in, and I think with some combos and depending on your spell choice and even potentially a multi-class, I think this subclass goes hard. Let's get into it.
All right.
So the idea of College of Glamour is a lot of awe and fear, the idea of being glamored by Fae, but both kind of the idea, it plays a little bit into the idea of not just the Feywild, but also a little bit of Shadow Fae.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit, not a ton, just a little bit. But at 3rd level, you get Mantle of Inspiration. So now, use a bonus action, expend a bardic die, choose a number of creatures equal to your charisma modifier within 60 feet. Each of them gains 5 temporary hit points.
Cool.
It's a small amount, not a ton, but hey, that's still
something.
pretty nice. But then it also, each of those creatures then gets to use their reaction if they would like to move up to their speed without provoking opportunity attacks. That is some really interesting, friendly crowd control right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then this ability just improves slightly over time. It increases the amount of temporary hit points, 8 at level 5, 11 at level 10, and 14 at level 15.
Okay.
So it just gets a little bit stronger as you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. It's just another way to potentially use your bardic, because it's just a bonus action on your turn, and you could just do this.
Yeah.
So there's going to be so many examples of when this is useful. Like, so I can't think of so many things where it's like, oh, fuck, yeah, get out of there. Move this person over there, move this person over there. Like, granted, they have to use their reactions, but still, just like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
For so many different examples in combat. Then, we also get Enthralling Performance. So you have to perform for 1 minute they give you a whole list of things, but it's a performance for 1 minute. You choose a number of humanoids, that's important, but it also makes a ton of sense. Choose a number of humanoids equal to your charisma modifier within 60 feet of you who have witnessed the performance, and they have to make a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by you. So you can charm, let's say you're level 3, 4, or 5 different creatures. While they are charmed, the target idolizes you, hinders those who oppose you, and they try to avoid violence. Like, they're not going to, like, kill somebody for you.
Right.
Unless they would have already done that before the charm. You know what I mean? So if for some reason you challenge
out of character.
Yeah. So that's where they make the distinction. There's another ability later on, I think for a different subclass, that does something similar to this. And it has that same wording of like, unless they're already down for violence. It lasts for an hour unless they take damage, if you attack it, or if it witnesses you attacking an ally. So a lot of stipulations of how they break out of that, which is the downside, I think, here. Right. And charm is, it's very an interesting thing to do, performing for a minute. I like it, though, because it plays into... It's set up to be an out-of-combat thing, or the thing you try and pop off before combat so that you can have this little surprise attack. But I like it a lot, especially because of this last part. If they make the saving throw, they have no idea that you tried to charm it.
That's crazy. That's big.
So that's awesome.
They have no idea. So they're not going to immediately become hostile that you tried to do this.
Worth a shot. Shot. Why not? You can do this once per short or long rest. So you might as well.
Damn. Might as well, yeah.
I love this idea. I think it's really, really cool, and it plays into the performance idea. Even every time I've ever played a bard, even then I make performance checks a small fraction of the time, like more often, but like still not that much. This is literally you're doing a performance, so I love this. I love the role play opportunity. Love all of it.
Yeah.
6th level, Mantle of Majesty. As a bonus action, you can cast Command without using a spell slot, and you take on an appearance of an unearthly beauty for 1 minute. Now, you do have to do this as if you're concentrating on a spell. Now, Taylor, you might be asking, but Command is a 1st level spell. Why the fuck would I... What the heck? Justin, why would I want to concentrate on Command? Right. Okay, it makes me hot. Cool. Tell me more. Don't worry, Taylor. There's more. During the
Oh,
1 minute,
Perfect.
you
Thanks.
can just cast command as a bonus action every turn without using a spell slot.
Jeez.
And playing into our enthralling performance, any creature that's charmed by you automatically fails the command spell.
Wow.
That's 10 castings, unless you drop the concentration. That's 10 castings of the command spell. 10 turns, where if somebody was charmed by you, 10 turns of you being like, no, keep walking away.
Yeah.
Keep walking away. Like, it's insane. Once per long rest, you get to do this. So very, very fucking cool. Then, at 14th level, we get Unbreakable Majesty. Bonus action, you take on a magical majestic presence for 1 minute or until you're incapacitated. Whenever a creature tries to attack you for the first time on their turn, the attacker has to make a charisma save. On a fail, it can attack you on this turn, and it must choose a new target or the attack is wasted. So Sanctuary.
Wild.
Except
Yeah.
charisma, which, depending on who you're fighting, that's way harder for certain creatures to make charisma saves. Now, granted, there are some hyper-specific examples where this is actually going to make it not that hard to beat, just because like certain devils and like demons sometimes have very high charismas and stuff because they're like, making deals and doing all kinds of crazy shit. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, a monster's charisma is going to be at best like a +3. So really freaking cool. Now, it gets even better because even if they succeed, even if they beat your charisma save, it can hit you, but now it has disadvantage on any saving throw against your spells on your next turn. Yeah. So it just gets disadvantage on its next save against you. And that's if it succeeds, which is crazy. So it's so wild to me.
Yeah.
Because this ability doesn't take a concentration spell to do. You're not concentrating on this Unbreakable Majestic visage, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just have this for a minute. So every turn when creatures are trying to attack you for the first time, they have to make these saves. So you could potentially be fucking up so many people in one round before it gets back to your turn. You could have fucked like 3 creatures. Now you cast Fireball, Magical Secrets. Mm-hmm. They all have disadvantage on the deck save. It's incredible.
That's rough, buddy.
A very cool ability. Recharges on a shorter long rest. That is the College of Glamour. The reason I love it is because of these really specific things of charm. Like, I've never played a character where I've played into the idea of charm, or like these command spells and like just being so unbelievably charming that in an almost alien or fae-like way, I think is really interesting. So I was a fan. I was like, hey, you know what? Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. All right, moving on to our next subclass here, the College of Spirits. This is like another more of a not so like dancey performancey bard, but more of a speaker type, because they talk a lot about like tales and stuff, like spirit tales from beyond and stuff like that. But it's kind of more of reaching into the lore side of things. They're looking to history and the spirits of the past for guidance. Funnily enough, the very first thing that you get at level 3 is Guiding Whispers, which gives you the guidance cantrip, and it doesn't count against your number of bard cantrips, and it has a range of 60 feet for you. That's crazy, because it's usually a touch spell, right?
It's a good question.
It is. It's a touch spell, so it's yeah,
that's incredible. That's really, really good.
Yeah. So that's it. Cantrip, 3rd level, awesome. You also get the second thing at 3rd level. You're going to get your spiritual focus. And it can be like it's like a arcane focus type of deal for focusing your spirit wieldy stuff. It could be a candle, crystal ball, skull, a tarot deck, something like that. And so you get that for your focus or whatever. And then starting at 6th level, you can cast a bard spell that deals damage or hit points through the focus and then you'll roll a d6, and then you can either add to a healing roll or add to a damage.
Yeah.
Through this focus. So this is kind of one of those things. It's just like a flavor thing more than anything. Until level 6, but it's cool. It's got this kind of this is just like I'm imagining like Edgar Allan Poe type of character, which is just a bum, like not a bummer, not a bum, like just kind of just, hey, what do you think's going to be going on later? Death and doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Oh, let me consult the cards. Yeah, we're fucked.
Just truly playing like a Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
The whole time, like that one character from like there's that one SNL skit where everybody breaks, and that one girl's just like, yeah, I went to Disney World once, and I can't even. It's bad. It's, but I like this idea. I like the idea of the Edgar Allan Poe, or like the sort of soothsayer.
Yeah,
it's giving for me. It's giving very like only because I've been there a couple of times, and my birthday's around Halloween. It's giving like Salem, Massachusetts for tourists.
Yeah.
It's being like, oh yeah, you're visiting
walking
Salem,
around with
fantastic.
a skull and like
$80. I'll read your palm. Just crazy shit like that.
And then you also get one more thing at 3rd level for the College of Spirits. At 3rd level, you can have your the Tales from Beyond. The spirits will speak through you and tell a story. So yeah, very much that channeler kind of backroom psychic vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're Jennifer Love Hewitt in that one show. And people know what I mean. I don't have to say anymore. People know exactly what show I mean.
I don't, but they do, so it's fine.
They get it.
So you can use a bonus action to spend one of your bardic inspiration die, and then you'll roll on the spirit tales table, and then you can choose you keep the tale. So you basically you have this tale in your brain until you finish a short or long rest, and then after that you can use an action to pick somebody, a creature within 30 feet of you that can be you, and they are the target of the tale's effect. You can only hang on to one of these tales at a time, and then if you roll on the spirit tales table, it immediately ends the effect of the previous tale. Any saving throws are against your spell save DC. That's a lot, and there are a lot. It's a D12 table, but bear in mind you're only going to be rolling. I think you start out with a D6, so you're not going to be able to get any of the higher level tales until your bardic gets to that point.
Yeah.
But a couple of interesting tales that are on this table. The tale of the clever animal. For 10 minutes, you can add an extra bardic die to every intelligence, wisdom, or charisma check. That's cool. And then the tale of the renowned duelist. And then you're going to make a melee spell attack. On a hit, the target takes force damage equal to 2 rolls of your bardic plus your charisma modifier. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's a big hit.
It's a pretty big hit, yeah. I mean, it's going to level up with you too, but
right.
It's pretty cool. I mean, obviously,
even at first, so 2d6 plus 4, that's a solid hit.
It's a solid hit. And it's cool. I mean, this is going to be one of those things, it's take it or leave it. Players are going to feel differently in terms of the randomness because you're not choosing, you're rolling on a die. You're rolling on it until later levels where you get cool things like Wild Surge, same gist. But I like the idea a lot. I like the role play opportunities it would give me. Like, I like the names of each of the tales, as like inspiration to be like, all right, the tale of a clever animal. And then when I give this ability to one of my fellow PCs, I'm gonna fucking tell you a tale. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I do. I like that
love
bit of
this.
it too. Yeah, absolutely. So that's your Tales from Beyond. Those you'll get access to more and more of them as you level up. As your bardic increases, you'll be able to get higher and better things. Starting at 6th level, you'll get Spirit Session. So basically you'll sit down and do the full seance ritual thing. You can do it with a number of creatures equal to your proficiency bonus, including yourself. You learn a spell of your choice from
Any class.
any class.
It just has to be from 2 specific schools.
Okay.
That's where they get you.
That's where they get you. The spell must be the level is equal to the number of the creatures in the spirit session, and then it must be a divination or a necromancy spell, but it does count as a bard spell for you. So once per long rest, you can do that, and then knowledge of that spell also wears off with the long rest. So you basically just kind of you're learning a spell temporarily through whatever means.
Yeah, it's really, really helpful. I love this ability. I've seen it used in one of my home games, Sphinx City games, where the player uses it. It's one of those unfortunate things that when, as a DM, you see this and you kind of, at least in my head, I'm like, ugh, what a bummer. Because she always uses it to get Revivify, which is valid and incredible use of the ability. It's a necromancy spell, so you're good to go. At 3rd level, so she just needs herself and 2 of her friends to get in on the seance.
Right.
Her character has a connection to, she like multi-classed as she has spirits, but then she multi-classed as like a shadow sorcerer. So she has a bloodline connection to hags. So every time she uses this ability, I will literally go on Bing and I'll look up the story of some like Salem witch trial person from history.
Right.
And it'll be the ghost of that person. Because I kind of think
that's pretty
this
cool.
is a kind of macabre, dark humor kind of thing, but I kind of think it's funny because we know nowadays that 90% of the people who were, 99.9% of the people who were killed during the Salem witch stuff weren't witches. They were just powerful women that people were intimidated by or something like that, right? Like, so it's just funny to have a ghost come back and be like, what? No, I'm not a witch. I was never a witch. Anyway, here's a spell to bring back the dead. Bye. I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
But it's when you're the DM, you're like, it sucks that you have to always use it on Revivify because there's so many cool abilities. I like that the level of spell is determined by how many friends you can convince to do another seance.
Yeah.
I love the role play there of being like, guys, it's 10 a.m., so time to talk to the dead people, remember? If you guys want Revivify, we gotta talk to the dead people. I love that.
Yeah, that is great. And then, you were saying earlier how it's kind of this weird wild magic. You don't really like it because it's all random stuff. At 14th level, it becomes a bit more manageable. You're going to roll on the spirit table with advantage. If you roll the same number twice, you can pick any effect, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the other thing of note is that you will not have access to the entire table at level 14. You do not obtain your D12 until level 15. But still, you'll roll up at that point 2d10 and
yeah. The 11 and the 12 one are pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, because you would think that would be the case, right? That they would sort of level up. Like if you're going to hold back 11 and 12 on the table, they should be the best ones. I haven't read every single one because there are so many.
So number 12 is, looking at just the 12, the Tale of the Mindbender, you're going to basically, you force an intelligence saving throw. If they fail, it's psychic damage equal to 3 rolls of your bardic inspiration, which of course is a 12 at this point, and be stunned until the end of its next turn. Rough.
That's really good.
Rough, buddy.
That's really good. I like it.
I like it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got I like the spooky ooky vibes of it.
The flavor is out of this world.
Yeah.
Really,
All right.
really fun. Cool.
That's it.
Now we get into one of these melee guys, the College of Swords from Xanathar's Guide to just about everything. College of Sword. Come on, you get it.
Stabby
You're using
boy.
swords. Yeah. They talk about how people perform stunts with like such as sword swallowing, knife throwing and juggling, and mock combats. I mean, absolutely. That's really funny to be like,
yeah.
I would actually, that makes it even more exciting to play a College of Swords bard who, like, obviously my stats would make it seem like I'm really good at swords, but the idea of being like, I've actually never been in a fight. I've just choreographed a ton of sword fights.
Right.
That is so funny. Like, truly being Johnny Cage at the start of his journey. Of them being like, you're destined to save the world, and being like, I'm an actor. I don't actually fight. Like, what are you talking about? That is such a fun character to play. Holy shit.
Fight to the death on this island. What do you mean?
You spelled combat wrong, you idiot. Okay. Wow, I want to play a College of Swords bard now. I finally found my motivation. Daniel Day-Lewis, but swordsman. Okay. 3rd level. Right off the bat, you're getting bonus proficiencies. This is nice. You're going to kind of need some of this stuff because you're getting close and personal most of the time. So you gain proficiency with medium armor and the scimitar. So specific. But yes.
So specifically the scimitar.
So specific. Do remember that there are lots of ancestries and lineages and races and stuff that will also give you proficiencies in a ton of weapons. So, you know what I mean? Like elf gets a ton right off the bat. They get like long sword, long bow. So there's a ton. If you are proficient with a melee weapon, you can use it as a spellcasting focus. That's kind of cool.
Nice.
Fighting style, you gain a fighting style. Now you only get 2 choices, which I did actually chuckle out loud when I saw this. I was like, ooh, a fighting style. And then I saw that there were only 2 options and I went, oh, no.
Oh.
Either or. I see. So you either can choose the dueling fighting style, where you have one melee weapon in one hand, no other weapons in the other, and you gain a +2 to damage rolls.
Okay.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, that does mean you can carry a shield, right? Because the shield doesn't count as a weapon.
It's not a weapon.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That's what I thought. And then the other fighting style that you can choose from is the 2-weapon fighting, where now you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the second attack.
Nice.
Like both of them for different reasons. Kind of just depends on what sort of build you want to go for.
Yeah.
You know, how high you care about your AC. Stuff like that, really, I guess. Now, here's the big one. Here's the big boy for the College of Swords. And I've seen Emily Axford use this to great effect.
Oh, yeah.
Now you get your blade flourish. Now, when you take the attack action, your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of your turn. That just happens when you're attacking.
Cool.
Then, if you if you hit on an attack, so very much in the Divine Smite realm of action economy, you hit and then you decide to do this. So you're never going to waste these.
Hell yeah.
You get to use one of the following flourishes once per turn. So even later on, 6th level, you get extra attack, but even then, you can only do it once per turn. Does mean that you can technically, I think, use it out of your turn, so reactions and stuff like that. And they do cost a bardic. So every time you're doing one of these, you are burning a bardic. So that is the pricey part here. But here they are. And 2 of them are infinitely better than the third. The third one, in my opinion, garbage. But okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
First, we have Defensive Flourish. Expend a bardic. You get to do extra damage, similar to the Battle Master. Like, no matter what you choose, you always get to, when you expend this bardic, you're always doing a little bit of extra damage, which is dope. But now, with the Defensive Flourish, you also get to add that number to your AC until the start of your next turn.
Crazy.
Wild.
That's
it's going to become incredibly likely that you will do more shielding than the shield spell.
Yeah.
It is insane what you can eventually put it up to. It's wild. So then,
I mean, just starting out, you can get lucky and be better than shield.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But
incredible.
Then, I mean, shit, man. Once you start getting up into the D8, D12 range, holy crap.
It's nuts. It's truly nuts. So then that is the defensive flourish. Then we have slashing flourish. Expend a bardic. Do the extra damage. But also, that damage also happens, that like extra bardic damage also happens to any creature of your choice within 5 feet of you. So, yeah, not the most damage, but hey, you're doing AoE to a bunch of people that are surrounding you. They could be spellcasters. They could be concentrating on things. You could be finishing them off, picking up those table scraps. Who knows? It's just a really interesting way to do an AoE physical melee attack if you're surrounded by targets.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? So I like that one a lot. I think that's really that could be really useful. And then we have the mobile flourish. There's some things. So you expend a bardic. You do the extra damage. That's all.
Yep.
That's all hunky dory. Then you can also push the target up to 5 feet plus what you rolled, which I can tell you as a DM, I hate, because it's going to be like, I got a 7.
Yeah.
So is that 5 feet, or are we going to 10 feet? Because every fucking map is 5 foot grids. Right? So it's just like, it's a little annoying. I kind of am like, oh, God, here we go. I have to fucking just make a decision and figure it out. And then
got 12 feet of movement left.
I know. It's just like, it's so hard. It's why I'm always like a little annoyed when certain ancestries have the 25 feet of movement, because I'm always like, come on, how the...
Yeah.
Every time they come up from prone, I have to figure out if we're rounding down, or I hate it. So you push them, I don't know, 7.5 feet away. Then you get to use your reaction to move up to your walking speed to a spot within 5 feet of the target. I hate it. Why am I pushing them if I'm moving up to them? I don't understand the point of that.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't push them and make them prone.
Why is it taking my reaction?
And I have to use my reaction to get closer to the thing I just pushed away. I hate it. So the other two are just so much better. Defensive flourish is probably what you'll end up using 90% of the time, because it's so good. Because it's so good. You might as well. So those are the flourishes. 6th level. Now you can attack twice. So
nice.
Always a benefit, especially if you're doing this sort of melee-based attacking physically when you have the opportunity. Because you still get all your spell slots and shit like that. So you still get magical secrets. You still get a lot of opportunities to do spell damage or crowd control or whatever. But now you have another option. And it's nice. Bards get a lot of concentration spells. So having these other things to do other than casting spells, because most spells that do damage that are not on the bard list are going to be like the main ones, like fireball and stuff like that. But if you're talking about the bard list without having to use magical secrets, I think Shatter is like the only one that really comes to mind. Shatter and maybe Thunderwave, those like early spells that aren't going to break your concentration and do damage.
Right.
But now you have another way, which is nice. I like it. So we get these blade flourishes. The pricey part, again, you have to use your bardic. You have to spend your bardic to even do these. But at 14th level, you get Master's Flourish. So now you can still spend your bardics, because at 15th level, you're going to have a D12. You can do so much extra damage. You could add up to 12 to your fucking AC. Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. But let's say you run out of bardic. Let's say you want to save those bardics for other things. You can just use a D6. So now you can blade flourish every turn forever in perpetuity. And I like that.
That's crazy.
I think that's a really good ability. I like it at 14th level. I wouldn't hate it if it was a little bit earlier, but like I like this ability a lot. It's the option of being like, hey, now you can use this ability every time. It just isn't as good.
Yeah, I like that too. I like the use of, not necessarily giving you something new, but giving the stuff that you've had this whole time and making them a little bit better, because now you don't have to use your full D12. You can give that to an ally and still be doing your flourishes and stuff. Yeah.
I like it a lot. A lot.
It's a good one. All right. So that's the College of Swords. Short and sweet. Let's get on to the last one for this episode, the College of Whispers. The spirit one had like spooky vibes. This is like spooky ooky vibes. Like, cause this basically, this is like a almost like a spy, or like when you think of like like the Master of Shadows, whatever type of thing. That's the kind of character that this is going to be. Starting at 3rd level, you'll get the Psychic Blades. So when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can spend a Bardic and deal an additional 2d6 psychic damage. You can do this once per turn. This damage increases to 3d6 at 5th level, 5d6 at 10th level, and 8d6 at 15th level. That's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of damage.
But it does cost a Bardic die.
Yeah,
it does cost a Bardic to do it. But, as is with most classes, you can't do the super broken stuff all the time. But
once per turn, and that damage increase is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it's really gnarly. Yeah, that 8d6 at level 15, that's no laughing matter. That's a lot of damage. But this is also kind of, again, that Master of Shadows type of in the secret.
It's nice too because it has that same language of when you hit.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about burning this kind of stuff. And I just want to remind the audience, a 15th level rogue does 8d6 sneak attack.
That's crazy.
So
that's
pretty
sneak
good.
Attack.
Granted, sneak attack is like, you could do it every single turn as long as you qualify for it. But still, 5 turns in a row, take a short rest, get some fucking Bardics back. Like, oh my god, dude, it really is like crazy. Especially same as the Bard or the Rogue when you have wombo combos to give them their reaction attack to maybe sneak attack again. You could do that with this Bard.
Yeah,
bonkers.
So. The other thing that you get at 3rd level here for the College of Whispers are words of terror. Basically, you corner somebody and freak them out. If you speak to a humanoid alone for 1 minute, you can just terrify the ever-loving Christ out of them. After the conversation, they have to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save, or they're frightened of you or another creature of your choice, so you can make them afraid of other people other than yourself. This fear lasts for an hour or until it's attacked or it witnesses an ally being attacked. If it succeeds, it has no idea you tried to do anything, and you can do it once per short or long rest. So it's kind of like that, the dance thing, the enthralling performance, except it's only against one person. But you'd still, frightened is a pretty bad condition.
Yeah.
And then if it succeeds if it succeeds against the save, it has no idea is the other thing. That's so huge because so many spells that you try to do this type of thing with, they know that you tried to do something at the end of it. It's just another kind of way to hide in the shadows, so to speak. So yeah, and then at 6th level, you're going to get the Mantle of Whispers. When a humanoid dies within 30 feet of you, you can capture their shadow as a reaction. And then you basically hang on to this basically copy of their essence, because it's more than just their physical appearance. But you hang on to this for long until you either use it or you take a long rest. While you have this essence with you, you can spend an action. It transforms into a disguise on you, and you look like the dead person, but healthy and alive. This lasts for an hour, or you can end it early with a bonus action. Here's the crazy part about this. You have access to all the information that they would freely have with a casual acquaintance. So you learn things about their life that they would talk about with their friends. So you can pass yourself off as them. So crazy.
Yeah. And then this is so cool. The flavor here is so fucking cool. Stealing someone's shadow, having it be like a representation of part of their memories and soul and stuff like that. And then not only just their physical likeness. And then you gain all the knowledge of a that they would be freely willing to give information wise to a casual acquaintance. Like, what an interesting wording. I imagine you can see like a room of writers being like, a friend? And they're like, no, not a friend, you idiot. That's too much. I don't know, a casual acquaintance. And they're like, that's perfect. There's no ambiguity. Yes. Everyone knows exactly how much information you would be willing to give to a casual acquaintance. There will never be questions at the table about this. It's so clear.
Bang,
I do love
done.
it.
All right.
Yeah. I do like that they qualify it that way, though.
Mm-hmm.
That they give you a little bit of a qualifier, because as the DM, you're going to have to make those decisions of like, oh shit, would this be part of it? How much are they going to know?
Yeah, no, you're not going to know that this is the big bad. You're not going to or not that they're the big bad, but like, you're not going to know all the secret plans of this thieves guild just because you managed to kill one of their members and steal a shadow. You're not getting all of that. Sorry about it.
Exactly. Unless you just so happen to steal the shadow of like Johnny the stool pigeon, who's like, I tell everybody about all the evil stuff we do. You're like, damn it, dude. They stole the worst person's shadow. The fucking rat. Like, I talk about it with everybody.
So while you're in this form, in this Mantle of Whispers form, people can do an insight check against your deception to try to figure out if you're really that person. You also get a +5 to that check, though, on top of your other stuff. So if you're proficient and you have, a good charisma bonus, it's going to be hard for them to get through it. And then you can only capture one shadow per short or long rest. Yeah. So that's the Mantle of Shadows. And then the last thing is the Shadow Lore. Basically, you learn how to weave magic into your words and really get to the core of people's fears. As an action, you can whisper a phrase to a creature within 30 feet of you, and they have to take a wisdom save. If it can't hear you or doesn't share a language, it automatically succeeds. So it fails. Or you fail. The skill fails. Mm-hmm. Anyway, on a success, there's no effect. It just sounds like mumbling. If they do fail, the target is charmed by you for 8 hours, or until you or your allies attack or damage them. It won't risk its life for you or fight for you unless they were already inclined to do so. And then here's another weird ambiguous line here. They grant favors and gifts it would offer to a close friend.
Yeah. What a fun
wild wording here. Wild wording.
This guy's actually really affectionate to his friends. Guess what favors he offers.
Jesus. When the effect's over, they have no understanding of why they were afraid of you. And then this happens once per long rest.
Pretty solid.
You can do this once per long rest. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Pretty solid. I like it.
An 8-hour charm is crazy.
8-hour charm is very, very strong. I like, as an action, you magically whisper a phrase that only one creature of your choice within 30 feet of you can hear. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. The idea of just fucking doing this in the middle of a bar. You know what I mean? You just see somebody across the bar and being like, you're literally like whispering under your breath, and they are perceiving as if you're saying like, I'm going to blackmail you. I know your worst secret. And they come over and are like, I'll do whatever you want. You're my close friend.
Hey, bud, let me buy you a beer.
So crazy. Yeah, this is an interesting one. This one truly, I mean, obviously they came out in the same edition. College of Whispers and College of Glamour are kind of like two sides of the same coin. Yeah. One focusing way more on charm and one focusing way more on fear. Even the 14th level Shadow Lore ability, technically a charm, it's laced with fear though. The person is charmed because they don't want you to tell their secret. Crazy. So, I mean, obviously you could talk to your DM and flavor that if you don't want to necessarily be blackmailing strangers, but I mean, whatever.
I mean, it doesn't have to be blackmail.
Yeah, no, it could
That's
be
probably
something
gonna be
else.
blackmail.
It could be. It could be blackmail. I do find all of these subclasses really, really interesting. After hearing about all of them, is there one that draws your attention? One that surprised you?
The one that really kind of surprised me that I would like to try is the College of Spirits, honestly.
Whoa,
it's such a cool vibes on that one of being just that you could definitely go that charlatan route of, being the psychic with the single ranch house on the side of the road that's got the big psychic sign in front of it.
Like a neon sign of two hands around a crystal ball. Yeah.
Exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. That would be a lot of fun. I'm still thinking about my College of Swords person who just like really works at Ren fairs and has never been in a fight a day in their life. And is fully is accidentally good. That's what I want. Right. I want to play a character who the stats aren't matching with the role play. The stats say this person should be gifted and experienced and talented and all this stuff, and this guy is just sheer luck. Yes, I want to get the lucky feat, and I want to go full College of Swords and just be an absolute bumbling idiot who crushes it. Who's just so good at everything. That being said, there's also the College of Utters.
No.
Bard.
Oh, God.
Who is an expert in all.
You know what? I'm not even going to let you finish that. That's all we can get into this time. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Soyouwannabeadm, or you can ask us a question at soyouwannabeadm@gmail.com. If you like the episode, don't forget to give us 5 stars and a review wherever you found us, and check out our Patreon and our Twitch with the link in the description. I almost had the whole thing done, and then anyway. Join us next time for more Dungeon Master tips and tricks.
Bye!
See you.
And now I have the honor of giving a shout out to the members of our Patreon gang. Lee, we can't wait to roll dice with you. Nub Muffins, may Paylor's light shine upon you. And there's Vanessa D, Talk Screen, and Tappy. If you want a shout out, join the Adult or Ancient Dragon gangs on Patreon. Tune in next time for more tips and tricks from So You Wanna Be a DM.